Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start doing the electrical today. I went ahead and got the gas line installed for the generator yesterday. I think I left off on the video where I had just installed but I finished it up. It goes all the way up, over, and then up into the space over there. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. Over, down, and there's the gas. I'm waiting for the fitting to arrive, that way I can thread that in for the quick connect for this. But in the meantime, I am going to start working on the electrical. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can't set my phone up somewhere where you can maybe see me, and then I'll show you what we're dealing with. I'm going to be, obviously that's breaker A, or panel A, panel B, because they're divided up onto two separate meters. So first step is, got to take the panel off each one of these, and then I need to remove the old breakers because these are the 30 amp breakers, and now my generator's gonna be doing 50 amps. So yeah, let me see if I can't zoom this out. That's a little better. Okay. Break the fucking phone. That's actually not bad. Awesome. I don't have my hex drives, unfortunately. But that's okay, I don't need them. Okay. Alright. So here's my old generator cord right here. That comes up into here, comes across right here. This is my generator cord right here, or right here. So first things first, I need to get this undone. There we go. I am doing this live. I'm not turning this off, just because I don't want to reset all my Wi-Fi stuff. So, but if you do it at your place, definitely turn off the Angry Pixies because they bite hard. Alright, so that's your 240 undone. Now I gotta fish this wire around here. Where did I go with it? This is going to be the pain in the butt part. It's so tight in here. Okay, so just for illustration purposes, obviously with the wire that I had didn't come with a ground, so I had to have an independent ground. That's that yellow wire you saw in the other videos. This was in the middle of the night during one of the hurricanes, I can't remember which one, so it was kind of a hack job, but it got the job done. So I used this for my neutral, I use this and this for my hot, and this for my ground. We're going to be fixing all that with this new electrical since I'm not getting rained on and there's no hurricane bearing down on me, so might as well do it right this time. And again, I'll have to do the same thing on the other breaker panel as well. It's got to be a project. Connector that I was using to hold the cord in place through the breaker box. I'm not going to be able to reuse that same hole. I'll have to get a plug. Alright. Okay. So I'm going to show you some of I'm using this terminology. So these are knockouts, okay? So the one I was using right here, that was where that cord was coming through. That's a 3/4 inch hole. I am going to need to use something like that, but the problem is, for the new electrical, the problem is I don't have a lot of space for that to come through. Now I could probably find a 90 to go into that, but man, those wires are going to be really kinked in there. Ideally, you want to drop it straight down like this. That goes to my camper. And yes, I know, I wired it all in the same wire because that's all they had at the time, so, but it works, so. Anyways, what I'm going to probably wind up doing, in all actuality here, is I'm probably going to just drill a hole through here. And then I'll just use that as the knockout. Perfectly safe. Yeah, right there. Pipe it straight through, and that'll go straight across over into where the generator is. So I will probably do that now. Again, if you guys are doing this at your house, turn the power off. Doing it this way with it live is really fucking stupid. Like, really fucking stupid. Do as I say, not as I do. was going to use liquid tight connectors, but for some reason they've gone up in price. They're like $50 for 16 feet for one roll, and that doesn't come with any of the connectors, so I'm going to hard pipe it. We're getting that spicy bit. Come on. Don't forget to wear safety glasses and electrical gloves. Like a glove. Look at that. God damn, it's almost like I know what I'm doing. Alright. So that will be my hard pipe out. Alright. So, same thing with the other side. I'm gonna probably wind up, as you can see. This is where I'm gonna bring in my power, or bring out my power, I should say, but if it's coming from the generator, bringing it in. So that's gonna be piped this way. I'll fuck around with the fence later. Bring this in, it'll go to my breakers here, and then I'll tie in the neutral and the ground, and then that's done. Now I have to duplicate this whole process on the next one for panel B, since I'm on panel A, but yeah, that's basically everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually I could probably go ahead and start getting it wired up. Let me get the wires. Alright, so here's what we got. Black, that's going to be our hot. White, it's going to be our neutral. Red, hot. Green, ground. Can't mess this up. Well, I'm sure somebody could. Alright, so actually I'm going to start with the ground. If you guys are wondering where to get this wire, go to Home Depot. The wire that I'm using is 6-stranded. Could probably get away with 8, but it's honestly better if you use 6. Pause the video for just a second. Alright, headed to delivery. So this is 6-stranded, so it's 6 gauge wire. See the size of it? Okay, it's thick stuff, but it's rated for 50 amps. Remember, the longer you run the wire, and there's a chart that I use, but the longer you run the wire, you're going to have some droppage. Okay, so you have to increase your wire size the longer you run it. So the length of wire matters. Here I have 15 feet, which is plenty to get over to where I need to be by my generator. Also, this stuff is incredibly expensive. I think for all the wire and the obviously the hard pipe and all that, I think it came out to like $500, like $490 at Home Depot. So this stuff is incredibly expensive. So you don't want to make a mistake and get the wrong size wire and it be too small, and then you're constantly blowing a breaker during a hurricane, only to turn around and then have to redo the whole thing. Cut wire, by the way, is non-refundable. Alright, also, if you guys are doing this at home, go out and buy yourself at Home Depot or Lowe's a good pair of electrical tools, flathead, Phillips, etc. This is not an electrical screwdriver. It will obviously conduct electricity. The difference is this would be shrouded in some sort of rubber or plastic to prevent arcs and sparks. I do have some of them in my garage, but I'm too lazy to go get it. So, and I'm very careful around angry pixies, so I should be okay. Now I say that, and I'm going to light myself up here in just a second. Watch this. Have to bend the wire to get it into your panel. If you do, that's all right. Come on. There we go. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this or not. Yeah, you actually can. So this is going to be your neutral. Honestly, when you guys open up your breaker box at home, you're going to see where the whites and the whites and the blacks and the blacks and the greens all go. If you have a raw copper, bare copper wire, that's also going to be your ground. Okay, grounds can come in a bare copper or they can come in sheath. There's some technicalities to why they come sheathed, but usually if you see the bare wires, bare copper, no sleeve on it, that's your ground. Alright, I did that. Go ahead and hook up my neutral. Those Home Depot guys credit. They really tape those up good. Alright. Remember, white's going to be your neutral. Pause it for a second. Okay, I'm back. Had to get a drink. So fishing the neutral line in my breaker box. I'm actually going to go behind the main lines here. Make it a little bit easier on myself. There we go. This is definitely not a tutorial on wire or cable management. This shit's a mess, but it wasn't me that did it. But I am going to add to the mess. Show you what I'm doing here. Okay, so that's where I tied in my green. They'll have a lug like this, okay? Put your flathead screwdriver in there. Obviously use an electrical one, but it goes just like that. And you're just gonna tighten it down, all right? That one's already tight. Same thing on this side. That's gonna be your neutral lines. Remember I was telling you about the bare copper? Right here? That's your ground, all right? They also come with a green sleeve. Tuck that one up a little bit. And then of course the red and the black will be hot. Just like they have on my stove line here. Thought it was loose. Alright, so that's what I'm doing, if you can't see it in the video. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a lug from here. Okay. I don't want to double up into one. So it looks like the next one is going to be really a pain in the ass to get to. Or I can maybe come up to this one. I might go up to that very top one right there and use that one. Yeah, that's probably what I'm going to do, because all the other ones are taken. There we are. Perfect. But that's almost out. Jesus, how much further I gotta take that thing out? Now I'm just gonna tighten this up and Perfect. Okay, so that one's actually hooked up now. So now what I'm going to do is trip over these wires and break my fucking neck. Alright, now on to the hots. So I don't know if I said this or not, but all I'm doing is I'm stripping back the insulation to about a 1/2 inch. That way I can go into the post or onto the breaker. They do sell pliers for this. I have pliers for this. However, I don't know where they're at right now, and I'm trying to get this job done. So obviously if I was going to a job and doing this for somebody, I'd be a little bit more professional. But since I'm my own boss, I can set my own standards. Perfect. So that's about as much as you want it to be stripped. No more. You want that insulation on there. Oh, let me get my 50 amp breaker. Alright, this is my double pole 50 amp. You can see right there, 50 amps. Make sure it's a double pole, alright? If you guys are doing this by yourself, make sure that it's phased. What I mean by phasing, I don't have any pancake breakers in here, but what you want to do is you want to make sure that each post that you tie into is on the opposite phase. So the wires coming into your house, which is the hot, you'll have 2 hots, right? Your neutral, and then of course your ground, which typically will be to your grounding rod at your house. So if you don't phase it, okay, you're not going to get 240 volts. Okay, you're going to get 120. All right, and your hot water heater won't work, your stove won't work. Things that use your appliances, your air conditioner, that are 240 volts, they won't work. So make sure it's phased, and what I mean by phasing is make sure that each one of those clamps, they bite down on each phase of the bus bar. The bus bar is hidden behind the breakers. You can't really see it too well in this video, but there are 2 little clamps right there, okay? So, on the breaker, you're gonna have the clamps on the back. Just gonna take a screwdriver, and it doesn't matter which one you put on which. It makes no difference where black and red go. You're gonna open it up just like that. See how that dropped down? And you're gonna take your wire, you're gonna fish it in. Like so. And you're gonna take your breaker, you're going to put the wire into that clamp on the breaker. You take your screwdriver, make sure it's a electrical one. And there we go. So that one's done. I'm going to let that breaker hang for a second, because now I got to get my black wire in there, which is going to be, again, our other hot. Thank you to Home Depot for electrical taping the fuck out of this. And there's nothing like that good feeling of tacky fingers while you're working. They put even more electrical tape on here. Why not? More the merrier. So electrical tape is primarily used for storing wires. Really shouldn't have too much of it when you're working. It's not a band-aid. I don't know who keeps calling me. I'll tell you what. Let me pause the video and find out who's calling me.